do a collective article about our own called Artographic Vignette, where you can sort of say, here's 10 people's responses to a provocation, and front end it basically with a theory, and then analyze what we're talking about through the renderings of artography, and using it as a sort of snippets of practice is kind of a cool, I guess I'm just teasing it out still.
Me as artographer in IT.
I really did like the thought earlier on, Peter, when you were saying it could be this, it could be that, of actually doing that two-layered process of viewing my own practice as artography, and then same process looking at my students and what they are doing within my course and viewing that through the lens of artography. So I know that today's focus was really about starting to share our artographic responses to the provocations that Peter proposed. Is it?
So my response then was a little clip.
Well, thank you everybody so much for coming today. It's been a wonderful occasion. It's a very, very special day for both Amanda and David, as you know. And to mark this occasion and in honour of it, they've asked if one of their special songs could be sung by someone who's very, very special and close to them. So here goes.
Beginning in G major at volume level of mezzo piano, using an anacrusis and in 4/4 time, beginning with beautifully articulated phrases, using mezzo staccato and moving through a sequence of fifths, using words indicating relationship, commitment and attachment for all time, to finally finish on the relative minor and a tierce Picardy.
Like, for me, I'm not very familiar with artography, but for me, it is what we do. We're artists, researchers, and teachers. So, you know, and Peter's call for sort of auto-ethnographic work means, like, you know, you've got to do a bit of identity work, which I found really hard. So I like, you know, doing research on other people and about other people, not myself, you know.
It's less, you're less squeamish about it.
Well, yeah.
Sure, I'm a teacher across different sectors, and I love research, but how do I make them inseparable? How do I combine them when I'm always in that artistic space? So primary school teachers as artists, if only. The artist in me as classroom teacher got diluted in favour of robotic characteristics, siloed timetables, reductive curriculum, and prescriptive content against the backdrop of unrealistic timeframes. Zap, gone. The art of teaching is a cool term for me. What do you mean we need to teach dance? Nah, that's what lunchtime club's for, explained the deputy. Integrate the arts? Sure, but they're not accessible, right? Asked my colleague. Mum, I get to do drama this semester as an elective, my 11-year-old tells me, the other day, by the way. I was told we don't do arts this term, explained one of my prac students, the other day, by the way. For art's sake, came my response.
I maybe took a different approach, I don't know, but because I shared a chapter with Katie and prepared, you know, like what I took from that chapter and then what I thought it could actually mean for the group.
So Sian, mine is kind of it sprang off that article you sent me and all the imposter syndrome that it brought up in me. But even so, as you'll see in my response, there's a whole lot of guilt I carry around, maybe not embodying so much of the A, but just the R and the T. As I begin to dive deeper into what artography is, I initially reflect that my practice for a number of years resents more of an artographic act. But wait, one must also be an artist drives my approach with my students. It is central to my pedagogy. My weekly learning experiences are actually framed around hands-on arts experiences that we engage in together. We sit with each other, albeit via the magic of Zoom, and work together on our weekly arts projects. We choreograph a dance sequence, and all our work is shared via the class Padlet. Each week, I'm creating alongside them, I'm modeling creative and artistic vulnerability as I engage in the same learning activities. We are all being artists together.
That creative element gets so diluted in amongst all the business of the day, and that's what frustrates me, because I just think this is not what I signed up for. I did not sign up for to be hammered by marking or hammered by bureaucracy.
I found that tension as well. The entire 4 years I've been doing it, it was like, oh, I should be writing, but often, to engage in the living inquiry of artography, I had to stop and go, actually, I need to be making and doing in my journal. And even though it felt counterproductive to spend vast amounts of time making art, that's where the work happens. And that's where the joy is. And it's the thing that I focus most on is it's not about necessarily blending the three, but looking at those sort of liminal spaces in between as we move in and out of being, you know, when I'm a teacher, how much of my, you know, what do I learn from my artist self to be a teacher, and what do I bring to that? And there's this, the in-between spaces that I think are, for me with artography, that's where the generation of, the generous outcomes of art making and teaching and research together that's where we find the magic happens.